You are watching or listening to Off Color, a podcast. Uh-oh. Cut.
Just keep going.
Fine. You're gonna edit this? Just kidding.
Nope. All right. Just like this.
All right. Welcome to Off Color, where we get into our topics. We've been having some big changes here at Off Color. Many of you are accustomed to listening to our podcast or catching us live on Versa Colorado. Right now, we are sort of in flux. We are trying a new thing, and you're experiencing it for the first time. First time. So I'd like to welcome
Cherry popped.
Regular guest Hashim T.
Hey everybody.
Hey, give it up for Hashim. All right, I'm so grateful to have you here. Thank you for coming to Off Color. And our special guest this evening is Terrance Roberts, aka T-Rob, who is a community organizer in Denver, Colorado. All right, Terrance, I wasn't done introducing him.
Talk faster.
Okay. All right. So thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate you being here. We also have our live studio audience comprised entirely of my own family. What? Okay. So I wanted to know, things are going on here in Denver.
Yes.
Something I saw recently on the internet was a YouTube video for some kind of real estate company. Did you guys see that at all?
Unfortunately.
You saw it.
I saw it.
You saw it.
I saw that trash.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was some kind of parody video with people. They did a parody of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and they were rapping about Denver. And so basically it was kind of like, I'm getting ready. Get ready. Okay, you ready? Come to Denver. I can't even do it. Come to Denver. We got white people, scooters, and weed. We gentrify the neighborhoods at breakneck speed.
Where's Sandman when you need him? Womp womp.
Well, that was basically that. So
yeah, that was trash.
It was really
trash.
bad. It was as bad as that, but like
no,
worse,
it was worse
because they weren't even half black. They were all white. So let's talk about it. What were your thoughts and feelings when you saw that video?
I thought, here some white people go with some more BS. I was bothered by it. One, it was tacky, right? So from a musical standpoint, it was talent deficient. From a ethical standpoint, here they are using this black music from a black artist about gentrifying a black and brown part of town. Or they saw it all at Denver, but they was shot over in the north side, right? And I'm just like, wow, there's no shame to their actions. But then they came there for the culture. They used culture to bring other people in, but then they eradicate all those that are culture, all those that created that culture, all those that look like that culture. And I just thought it was trash, but the video's down now.
They took it down
yesterday.
immediately, yeah. They took it down real quick. So did you see it?
I've seen it.
Okay, tell me what was your feeling?
I think Hashim got a little bit deeper than what I thought about it. Initially, my initial reaction is, and when I meet new Facebook friends or new people or whatever, it's like, y'all don't have no Latinas, no black realtors?
Yeah.
No black friends?
It was.
Like, none? Like, I mean, at least one. And I feel the same way about people of color who don't have one white friend or one Latino friend if you black. Like, I feel the same way. I like diversity, but I love my people, of course. So when my people are left out, then I instantly notice it. And I thought more about that than I did the whole, how many spoofs has it been of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
Yeah.
I didn't really get as deep into the whole appropriation and all that about it. I didn't think that was their intent. I just think it was a bunch of white women who don't understand culture and don't understand what is happening in this city because they're detached from the community where they're selling these homes. And that's the result of detached white people in the community is shit like that.
Okay. So, speaking of community, I'm going to introduce you one more time for our live audience tuning in. It's Terrance Roberts, community organizer. And you go by T-Rob. Is that true, or I
mean that's
just T-Rob. That's your little nickname.
Well, my name is Terrance Roberts.
Okay, I like it.
People call me T-Rob for short. Or some people just like Terrance Roberts. They say my whole name, or they just say
what's your middle name?
T-Rob.
Okay.
No,
do you have a middle?
Okay.
Oh,
Terrance Terrell Roberts.
TT.
But either people say my whole no one can just call me T or Terrance. It has to be Terrance Roberts.
Gotcha.
So something I saw, we're Facebook friends, and I wanted to know, you had a post, and it said something to the effect of you didn't want to engage about racism with white people anymore, like in conversations about it.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, like, if you could expand to me on what you were talking about when you referenced that.
Yeah, I'm a little confused because I never said that in particular.
Fact check.
I erase white people. I engage white people differently about racism.
Okay.
More like to their face.
Okay.
You know what I mean? More like where white people are at, where they may be racist. Foundations, police departments, probation departments, parole departments, youth detention facilities, prisons.
Okay.
You know, I mean, and you know, it's ableist in this. You know, I don't want to judge anyone's activism because some people have to protest online. Some people don't have other means to get out the house. They may be sick. They may have anxiety. They may be paralyzed. Whatever.
Yeah.
You know, so some people's only recourse is to do it online. But there's also a lot of able-bodied people who, if you really feel that passion about a subject,
can do something. Yeah.
Then my whole thing is just, well, then let's go do something.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. You know, the whole Facebook discourse stuff, that shit is damaging too to people. You know, like, and you know, and I know we didn't want to talk about these recent elections, but that's a perfect example of how damaging some of that stuff can be. Friends were made and relationships were severed. You know.
Yeah.
All right, fine. We can talk about the recent elections.
We don't have to.
We could have just left it there. But something in you
I won't
wants to.
set an example. But if she wants to.
On Facebook, what kind of damage have you seen from people's like comments, or can you speak a little bit about that, like why you kind of want to pull back from that?
Oh, I've seen people slandered, of course. Some of us. I've seen, you know, vicious attacks, you know, on people's character. People have been called sellouts, coons, you know, whatever, you name it, half-breed, anything you could think of that's derogatory.
Was that one? That was me, wasn't it? The half-breed?
I don't think they called you that.
You're not the only one.
I've seen it. Yes.
You're not the only one. I mean,
You're not the only
and you're not the first.
And I won't be the last.
Right.
So, you know, just whatever, you know, you name it, you know, people's personal matters, relationship matters, marriage matters, you know, get brought up. I mean, when we're talking about politics, and it's all about Denver, man. I've worked in different cities and different places, but Denver's kind of intense little city. A little bit right now, especially, you know. So.
Do you agree with that, Hashim? You've been heavily involved in politics in the state of Colorado in municipal elections. You had municipal and statewide elections.
And federal. Yep.
And okay, sorry.
Sorry,
Hashim is available for consulting.
Right.
Okay.
Bands that make me dance.
A Republican, anyone. Okay, sorry. Go ahead though. So would you agree with that?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. So the keyboard provides a place of safety for some people that allows them to be extremely reckless, right? It's got internet tough guys and gals too. But what it also does is it doesn't allow for true communication to happen. Let's say face-to-face communication is the best form of communication, right? So sarcasm doesn't transcribe a lot through text. Nuance doesn't subscribe a lot through text as well. So a lot of that happens, then you're in emotion. So then you start skim reading, right? So you're like, I never said that. You said this, but your mind isn't set in an emotional place.
Yeah.
So you feel that it's something completely different, and then things snowball out of effect.
Yeah.
But what bothered me the most is that all this fighting and bickering occurred behind two people that did not even know you, right? Like you know, and could not care less about you and. Just moved on, and I'm just like, wow, like here people go fighting, possibly dying, as far as relationships and friendship goes, over somebody that doesn't give a damn about their interests.
Yeah.
And that's the bad part about it. But I definitely agree with what Terrance said. I mean, like those that are able to get up and go out, get up and go out. I'm not saying put yourself in harm's way of being arrested, right, or being a victim of white supremacy through assassination by a law enforcement agency. It can just be something simple as going to your local elected official's office, making a comment, right? Driving somebody to a protest, driving somebody to a phone banking.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody has a part to play. It goes to my whole bicycle spoke theory. Like, there's spokes for all types of fights in the struggle to make the wheel stable. Everybody has a lane to play. Everybody has a role to play. So, like, let's do it.
So, speaking of protests, I recently attended last Friday a protest here in Colorado at an ICE detention facility located in Aurora.
Yep. Off at 31st and Oakland.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact address.
It's over there, though. And so when you brought that up, though, I feel like, were either one of you at the protest?
Hell no.
I wasn't. I couldn't make it. I would have went, though.
Why did you say it like that, Hashim?
First, it wasn't a protest.
Okay.
Because there were permits.
Oh.
It was a parade.
Okay.
It was a march, right?
Okay.
Protests are created and designed to cause disruption and inconvenience towards the issue in the party that you're protesting against. This is all laid out beautifully. We have this permit, stay in this area, nobody gets arrested, everybody goes home. I felt it was like the feather that went to the down pillow of whiteness to help people sleep at night. Like, I did something great.
Okay.
You know, when there was really very little skin that was, I mean, things snowballed. But from the initial concept, it was very little skin that was acquired to be put in the game.
Right.
But I think it should have happened. And I think that protests should be set up with white people at perimeter defense.
Yeah.
Supporting those that are most marginalized. For our speaking, and the intention goes on that, because white bodies are valued by the system more than non-white bodies are. So therefore, the tanks in Tiananmen Square wouldn't roll in, or Trump's army wouldn't roll in and bulldoze the white folks.
Yeah.
In order to get to the non-white folks.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's all about strategy.
Yeah. Sorry. All right, and hold.
Forgot to let my hair down.
Your bracelet is making a lot of noise on your left arm.
Okay.
I mean, you can keep it on.
I'm black. Talk with my hands. I'm trying to hang it over. Trying to have that Brother Jeff moment. Bam! Triggering my PTSD.
All right. Okay. So what happened, for people who are not aware, we had two protests happening kind of at the same time. Lights for Liberty, it was sort of an organized National Day of Action. And then there was also a protest organized, I think, largely by socialists or Antifa type
Antifa-esque, yeah.
Yeah. So I participated in both, actually. I went on the march around the facility, and what they told us at the onset was, we're going to respect the other event. This is what was said by the leaders. Yes. Okay. They said, we're going to respect the other event. We're going to end our march at 7 so that people who are participating here may also participate in the Lights of Liberty piece, the vigil. So we thought everything was going to be kind of fine because of that. But as I was looking for parking, we saw Aurora PD raising a bag of rifles and snipers to put on the rooftops. I saw that with Dave Russell. Okay. Photographer.
Yeah.
And so it did feel a little bit different than the other protests that I've been to at that facility. When we did our march, everything was fine, we got to the space, and then the Antifa group was going across the bridge. The organizer of the Lights of Liberty protest asked them to please not do that.
So they were violating the permit, right? Basically, right? They were entering on private property?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And they were letting them know, this is a federal offense. This is a felony if you are, doing X, Y, Z. So it made me really upset, because the people who were there, the speakers, the different various organizations, I feel like people weren't even listening to them speak, because they were too busy watching to see what was going to pop off over at the doors of the ICE detention facility. And then as that's going on, we hear the voice of Jeanette Vizquera, who is currently in sanctuary right now at the First Unitarian Church here in Denver, Colorado. She's an activist. She had a speech prepared. And I felt like people couldn't even hear it, because this group of mostly
Antifa
white.
folks. Right.
Antifa folks, right?
So-
were there pulling down the flag. Then they put up the Mexican flag. And I mean, it was a cool moment. Like, it was a viral moment, right? Like, just the idea of taking down the American flag and, like, putting up these flags. But it didn't even... Go ahead.
So...
Making your face.
No,
Go ahead.
because...
Take on a little drink.
I mean, because things matter, right? Symbolism matters. I'm not an attorney.
We have one in the room.
But I think there might be a fine line when one does that with the flag, right? I mean, I think if it had been a federal installation, that it probably would have been worse.
Yeah.
When something like that happened, as opposed to a private facility, that gets into stuff way beyond my scope.
Yeah.
So, I'm not a super fan of that. I mean, because yes, this land was stolen, taken,
By other colonizers.
official lie acquired from Mexico. But however, what it is now, like I don't know what all that represents. I don't want to get down on that. But my biggest issue is the fact that Antifa was lazy AF, lazy as fornicate, to jump on that event along with the Light to Liberty event.
Yeah.
Because it was very self-serving and very ego-driven because they had this mass of people there. So then they had to, like, we can get attention on us. What should have happened, because we're about protest, right?
Yeah.
And protest is about disruption and sustaining that disruption as long as you can to get the results that you want. Lights of Liberty should have happened, was it Friday? Friday. Antifa should have did their thing on a separate day, right? So you keep protesting over and over and over, and it causes a drain on the resources of like, okay, stop. Like, we have to make this type of change. So I have an issue with that. But I didn't have an issue with Antifa because it's just like more white ego in the room of, I'm going to do this because it satisfies my needs. To hell with these people of color over here and the immigrants that are affected. Like, if the police chose to act, if Aurora police chose to deal with this at a different type of level, then it could have gotten bad, right? So, tip my hat to Aurora police for not going off. I said it. But
Lord.
Right. Let the record show I gave the police some credit for doing what they're supposed to do, which is serving the public, right? So that's what bothers me the most. Okay. Antifa should have did something completely different, and they should not have been allowed to. I don't know who could have stopped them from being there, but they jeopardized. They put a lot of people in jeopardy.
Well, and that was what a lot
cool.
of the organizers were saying. They were like, "You're putting me in danger right now," and they were begging them to stop.
Right. It just shows that a little bit of understanding is a bad thing.
Yeah, and so they couldn't finish their vigil because of that. And I don't know. I mean,
well, it's like you just said, like it's different spokes to the wheel. Like, you know, I don't want to disrespect their efforts because, you know, I mean, we asking white people to help, ain't that?
Yeah, but on a different day, like
exactly. I can agree to on a different day.
Yeah.
As far as their antics and tactics,
whatever, just on a different day.
I will say this though, just like the American government has atrocities and that flag deserves to be disrespected, so it's the Mexican government too. The Mexican government
it ain't perfect in Mexico.
They're very racist government. So not only am I not one to root for the American government, but I'm really not one to be hanging up Mexican government flags either because they're very racist towards black people. All the same.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And dark Mexicans too. So whatever. You know what I'm saying? So no, I'm not down with them replacing one flag for another flag that represents another racist regime.
Thank you, man.
But if they have antics that are direct action, no, I'm not ever going to disrespect your direct action.
But I also think it's one thing I will only say is that most of the people that are housed there are not even actually from Mexico. You know, that's the other, like, who's in there.
So
you know?
I don't know who's in there.
I did.
And the thing about, as it relates to immigration, as in America, black folks are like largely affected by.
Well, there's Haitians,
but
there's Belizeans.
That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of Cameroonians.
There's a lot of black Mexicans.
But it's just that the Latino face. The Latino population happens to be the face of immigration,
which is
right?
okay.
It's okay to an extent, but it completely negates a whole other group of people, right? But then it also puts them at target. No, I agree with everything you're saying, but I will say this: if the Latino community is doing the organizing around it, and if they're saying, "Oh yeah, support recognize our face," then I'm not mad at that. Yeah, support them by all means. But it's just
we should see more Ethiopian and Habesha and Eritrean community people out there. I feel that way. We should see more Central American people I feel, who are darker complected. But if that's not where they feel comfortable, or if they don't feel like they want to represent like that, then...
But that's in the protests. But I'm talking about far as the numbers of who's affected by it. Yeah. Everybody, they make this that this is a build the wall type of thing. And it's like...
It's deeper than that.
Yeah, it's so much deeper than that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I've been to Haiti. I've seen... I know how Haitians get treated worse than Mexican Americans. Way worse, actually. Right. You know what I'm saying? But... also within Colorado or within Denver, maybe if we were in Miami or Louisiana, we may see
it'd be a little different there too, because Florida has a different set of rules, right? And so this is like before Obama even got elected. If a Cuban touched soil in Florida, they had a different type of asylum rights than if a Haitian touched soil in Florida. Right? So like
that's racism.
It's racism and it's colorism. It's colorism, but it's racism still, and it's just these are the things that we don't talk about. We don't get into the nuance.
It's not necessarily racism because they're both black.
Tell that to a Cuban.
Colorism.
I agree with you, but you know.
Cuban, but not all
Speaking of racism,
claim their black heritage.
Speaking of racism, there's this guy that is the president of the United States, and I've heard lately that he is
not my president. He's occupying the office of the presidency.
So I don't know if people are familiar. He had some tweets that were telling our junior representatives that they should go back to their countries. Did you hear about this?
I heard that trash.
Can you like fill our audience in on that?
I mean,
what happened?
So basically, the orange piece of phlegm sent out a text saying go back to where they came from. But it's funny that 3 of who he was talking about were born here on American soil. The one that was not has been a U.S. citizen longer than the orange piece of phlegm's wife, right? But I mean, what that was a complete dog whistle to the tiki torch carriers and those that molest bed sheets to make headdresses. It was a message to those people. Firing up the base.
Okay.
I mean, but it was completely wrong.
Okay. Did you hear anything about that?
I mean, I believe in conspiracies. I've had a COINTELPRO operation ran on me, so I know that there's dirty police and all this. So I don't believe that these tweets are just Donald Trump is just
there's a message.
Flip of the moment. I believe that
there's a reason for him.
I believe that they know good and damn well that these people were born in the United States.
Yeah.
I believe that these tweets are to attract a certain racist base in America. I believe that these are not accident tweets or, he's just speaking out the side of his neck. I believe that all of this stuff is pre-planned, is targeted. I believe that there's a lot of media satire involved. Don't get me started, because I think that the media and the government work.
I should give you my conspiracy.
You got shows like this, you know. You got independent shows like this, but once you start getting into mainstream and once you start getting into CNN and all that kind of stuff, then.
But that's supported.
One thing I do agree with Trump about is fake news.
Oh shit!
I do believe in fake news.
Okay,
I've had fake news done on me. So you can Google fake news.
Sometimes
on your cell phone.
Sometimes those are the best lies, right? The lies that are wrapped in truth. Yeah. Then there is some fake news. So how he uses it, right? He's using some truth wrapped in a lie.
He uses fake news. He's fake news.
He is fake news.
Those tweets are contrived. They're you know, and then what happens? We discuss it for weeks. We get distracted. We're talking about, did you hear about Donald Trump's tweet? But really, 1,000 women got raped in Rwanda. Or, you know, where's the girls? Where's the missing girls at? What the fuck happened to the missing girls?
Or more of the U.S. Constitution's being torn apart as we're distracted.
There's something going on at the border. So when we see those type of tweets, I personally feel like there's something else going on.
That we should be paying attention to.
It's just a distraction. I definitely believe in distractions.
But how is it news? We knew what this was, right?
We've been knowing he's a racist. This is the
since the 70s when him and his daddy. I'm trying to watch this.
You don't just dead like that.
Give up. Just swear all you want.
Let me know where I can go water the flowers. Where that dead is. But no, when him and his daddy were marking marks on the rental applications in New York for the slum when they were slumlords and they were excluding blacks from property, we knew who he was. He's never hid who he was. Like, I mean, so how is this even news?
He's been a racist.
Yeah.
He's been tweeting about third world countries and shithole countries. It's a distraction. I think that we probably shouldn't spend as much time on worried about.
So what should we be paying attention to? What should we be doing?
For your answer? to stop down.
Thank you.
What you need to do, first find out who your elected officials are, right?
Okay.
Find out who your city council person is, who your school board person is, who your mayor is, who your state reps are, and who your governor is. A lot of people don't even know that. And then go with your congressperson, your House representative, your senator, and reach out to their office. Ask for agendas. Ask for their calendars. Ask for their plans. What are they working on? You know what I'm saying? So you ask what they're working on, find where your values line up in that, and then make a call back like, hey, I want you to focus on this, or hey, I don't like this.
Right.
It's really simple. I mean, it's 3 hours worth of work a week.
So
If that.
I'm glad you brought up municipal elections because, you know, I'm working on my film,
Yes,
Running with My
you
Girls,
are.
and you are both supporters of our newly elected and inaugurated Councilwoman Candy C. DeBaca here
Yes.
in Denver,
Woo!
Colorado. Candy!
History making.
It was history making,
History
and
making.
her first media appearance was on Off Color,
Okay.
by the way. I was
Good.
number
It should've
one. Okay, so what? I'm just gonna
That's all right.
go back to the archives for that one.
I mean-
It's called We Won Bitches. Okay, so I know. I'm ignorant.
Yeah,
All right.
right.
So Candy C. DeBaca, we were finishing up shooting for Running with My Girls,
Mm-hmm.
and oh man, it was quite a day. Did
you
you go
cry?
to the inauguration?
Did you cry?
I was just sweating. I was sweating too much. It was so hot.
You cried.
I did. I cried a little bit.
I work a lot. I'm a home inspector.
Yeah. So you were not
went.
present.
You didn't even see me.
I didn't, and I'm sorry.
I look like
okay?
everybody else that was there.
Okay, so it was a beautiful day. It was 1,001 degrees out there. The sun was blazing on everybody. Like, it was really hot. Candy was amazing, but to me, she's an example of the kind of people that we should be electing. Like, I feel like there's a lot of comparisons with her with AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Like, people are really excited to support her, and, you know, so why were you a supporter of Candy?
I've been knowing Candy for some years. I actually helped remodel her house. That's how.
Oh, really?
So now I'm a home inspector, but I learned how to start working on houses on her house. Literally, it was her house. I started learning.
Uh-oh. Did you mess something up?
Did you?
No, just messing with
no.
you.
I went over there. It looks good. It looks good. I've been there. It's nice.
It looks nice for you, but if you're an inspector or somebody, then the guys did a good job, I think. But then Candy wasn't exactly happy, but I wasn't there for the end. I wasn't there for the end
Yeah.
because I ended up quitting that crew.
Yeah.
Because I felt like there was some racism on
Yeah.
there, and
Oh.
there were some guys I was arguing with and some of that
Okay.
kind of stuff. And I was a new guy, and they weren't willing
Yeah.
to let me learn
Yeah.
properly.
Yeah.
So I actually got on another crew, which I actually learned everything.
Yeah.
So I don't know how happy she is with the final result,
Yeah.
but that's where I did learn. So I met Candy there.
Okay,
Actually, and she was telling me she was an organizer and she was doing Project Voice and all that.
Okay,
And I was like, oh,
okay.
yeah, I was doing, because I had ran my organization for like 10 years.
Yeah.
And
So-
we became friends.
Well,
Okay,
she's
so you know
definitely
her from
shown
that.
that if she doesn't like something about a house, she'll change it.
Hey. She will. So she went in.
That's
and,
corny a little.
I know. Don't hate on my art.
Hey, art's relative. Some people like it, some
Whatever.
people don't.
Oh, now how does it feel when
Whatever.
somebody makes fun of you?
You want me to start?
And I wasn't making
Okay.
fun of me.
I know, but okay, so Candy, she had her inauguration. That was fantastic. And then the same day of the inauguration was also her first city council meeting, and it was her first vote.
Her first vote.
And so it's like once you get into the system, like, can we affect change? Because I feel like the vote that came up was around widening the highway or
Pena
the Pena Boulevard.
Widening Pena Boulevard.
And
Which should have been widened to begin with, but...
okay, but still, it was a vote. They were kind of all caught up to speed. That was my understanding from being in the meeting. And then when it came time to vote, there was one abstain, Chris Hines, who's also a new council member who's considered like a progressive. And I like Chris Hines. Chris Hines,
Yes.
everybody, Chris Hines.
He
I
beat out
won't
a
clap
racist.
for him, I don't know him.
He beat out a racist for that seat.
He did. He beat out a racist.
Oh, yes.
A Dixiecrat, yes.
He's in a wheelchair. I'm like, Chris Hines, okay? So he's good.
Well, just because he's in a wheelchair, I don't think is a reason
No,
to.
but I do feel like
'Cause
I
there's some
want...
evil people who've been.
Okay,
in
that's
That's
true.
right.
However...
'Cause I don't
George
think he
Wallace
would-
ended up in a wheelchair,
Yeah.
and somebody should have pushed his ass off a cliff.
I mean, I'm not gonna argue about that. But
But he's a good guy, though.
But
No,
Chris
but-
Hines is good.
Chris
Yeah.
Hines is
happens to
good.
To be in a wheelchair.
But the reason I like that, though, is because I do feel like, for example, already he's making changes in that there was no ramp in the city council, like in their meeting room where they have the meetings. They've never had anyone.
That still doesn't even make sense.
Because people that use wheelchairs never
run for office.
They never wanted to attend the meetings.
Yeah.
Right? So there's no need to ever build a ramp.
So they didn't have it though in the space. So now they have it. It's there. But I'm saying like it's that voice that I think that I myself as an able-bodied person don't always think about. So I'm really glad that he's on city council, and I didn't vote for him, but I told people to vote for him because he's not my district.
I heard he's a good guy though.
Yeah. He is. However, he abstained. He didn't vote, and Candy was the only no.
She was a no.
And so it passed. And so I'm just like wondering, like, if we're fighting so hard to get these people that we feel like are going to represent us and represent the community's best needs, and then they get in, and it's like there's only one of them. How are they supposed to?
So what you don't do is get discouraged, right? I mean, because we didn't get here overnight. We're not getting out of this overnight. So what this means is that in 4 years, Candy needs to be reelected, and there needs to be other support for Candy to have these votes, right? What this also does is it tests Candy. It tests her negotiating skills, her partnership skills, right? Her partnering skills. It's easy. Activism is easier than legislating, right? When I saw that they were passing this vote off to the new, and I was like, this is a setup, right? Like this is the beginning of the setup.
I'm not saying that's definitely something they should have, but.
It's a setup. Like, so I just...
Okay.
Listen,
I support them. I support what she did.
So you want more people you want more people to run. What about me? Do you want me to run?
For what?
For District
Away?
8? For city...
What? I'm asking.
For City Council, District 8.
Why do you want to run? I live in Aurora. I can't vote for you.
Okay, do you live in Denver?
Yep.
Okay, would you...
Where do you live in Denver?
Do you think you can win? Because right now you don't seem confident that you can win. And when I see that confidence, and when I see you ready to do that, then we'll talk about
speaking of people being ready to do stuff, like what kind of candidates do you support? What kind of people do you want to see in office?
I mean, I'm happy about Candy being in office. What I want to wait and see, though, is when the community is like, do this, Candy. And deep down, Candy is like, no, I'm an elected official, and I know better, and I'm going to have to do this. That's the moment I'm waiting on. But I think that was an easy no vote on Penny and Boulevard.
Yeah.
I think it was an easy no vote. I love Candy. That's my girl. But let's keep it real. Let's keep it 100. I mean, it's easy no
I
vote.
think that's our job as constituents is to hold them accountable. So
Can we support her after? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Are we going to still be able to support Candy when we're all like, we want to know? Like, say no. And she's like, I'm going to have to say yes this time because I know better. And how are we going to treat her?
I agree with you.
So it's like, we want to get good people in the office, but, this is one vote we're talking about. Candy has hundreds of votes coming up. You know what I mean? How are we going to treat Candy? How are we going to support Candy? And those are the kind of elected officials that I want to see in office, elected officials who are going to change things, man. Like Denver's been in the same political quagmire, same fucking camp of whoop-de-doos since I was a teenager. I'm about to be 43, man. I'm ready for change, man.
I dig it. So this is what happens, right? So this is what you do. For those that live in Candy's district, District 9, you support Candy. But what you also do, you have access to 2 at-large members that represent you as well, too, right? So the phone calls, the pressure needs to be applied upon them. So theoretically, you push them and you get them to agree with the Candy vote. That's 3 votes, right?
Yeah.
So then, outside of that, those people that support Candy but don't live in the district have a responsibility to call their city council people. And that's how you help Candy begin to navigate through these relationships, and so that she's successful, and so that the people begin to benefit from city council.
So let me ask this before we get off the topic. If Chris Hines is so cool, why did he abstain on the easy no vote that we just all agree is the easy no vote? Hopefully he's not about to be abstain. I'm going to abstain this time. No, we need you to vote.
Well, I mean, that's what it
we
kind
need
of...
you to vote no. We don't need you to be abstaining. That's the whole thing of what you were saying. We need people we need council members to support Candy. So if they're going to be abstaining when it's time for these no votes to come up, then
I got you, but
it's a waste of time.
Yeah, so I would describe it without knowing the full details of that bill that what they were voting on. and his full reasoning, just from looking at it at face value, it was a political thing for his community. No, I got you. But listen, if you want to get reelected, this is the thing, right? Legislating is harder than activism.
First vote, he's doing political.
It's still harder. So
not disrespect.
No, I got you. But 2 no votes wouldn't have stopped it.
Oh, it wouldn't have, but still though.
Why
abstain?
But is he playing checkers or is he playing chess?
But hold on. Additionally,
easy no. He
it might not have should have been a no, and it might not should have been a yes. There might not have been enough details for a full yes or no vote for him. It needs to be widened. Like, that is atrocious at times driving up on Pena Boulevard. Like, what the hell is going on?
So did Candy make a mistake?
I don't know, because we aren't privy to the full details of it, right? If it had been me, I'd be like, I'm in favor of widening if we can guarantee X number of non-white, non-male contracts and employees on this. Like, the wealth has to start being spread on this, right? And so I just don't know. I don't know.
So I don't want to get too in the weeds with our own local politics, because something that I feel, you guys know I'm not from Denver, but I do.
Where are you from?
Originally, I grew up outside New York City. It's on the East Coast.
Okay.
We know where New York City is.
I've been there once or twice.
It's on the East Coast. It's not in the South.
What's that one neighborhood called?
The
Bronx. Oh yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's where the Golden Gate statue is, right? In New York.
They call it Brooklyn, right? I think I've been to Brooklyn.
If your family wasn't here.
Okay, but they are. My daddy in the
They got your back. I got it. I came in here light today.
No, but I feel like what's happening in Denver is universal in cities all over America. Like, I feel like the same thing is happening all over. And so I think that people do need to be paying attention to their municipal elections. People do need to be showing up to those city council meetings, because guess what? I realized when I went in that room, I've never been to a city council meeting. I've been to a couple committee meetings and things like that in different areas, but I've never been to a city council meeting. And other things that I learned when you were talking about, you can go see your state representative, kind of thing, like, if you call your state representative and you tell them you want like a bill, they'll write it.
Well, they have to write a certain amount anyway, so they're probably looking for ideas.
So they want it. Go ahead.
A person, your young niece,
yes,
can get a bill passed. If she gets one sponsorship from an elected official, she can then draft a bill to get passed. Like Colorado's kind of like a utopia compared to some of the other spots in this country.
Yeah.
So that's a wonderful thing about us. But you have to find someone to buy interest on it.
Right.
So I reached out to all of my House district rep and my state senator, and then the O's in Aurora, because I have their numbers too.
Yeah.
One thing I would like, and I told them, like, hey, I want a bill to be passed that separates credit scores from auto insurance determination. Right? I think that is so messed up that one has to pay a high insurance premium because they have a bad credit score.
You bought that couch in the center?
No, I never did that, but something like that.
I needed that big screen.
The TV, yeah. That was my show coming on, right?
Power was starting.
Right, but no. But student loans is what hit me, right?
Okay.
So you have student loan debt that is messing me up on my credit score, messing my home ownership, all that type of stuff, and now it's making my car insurance higher. Yeah. What? Like, it is the cycle of supremacy, right?
Yeah.
Holding people. So that's one thing I want.
Should it be credit score? Should it be something around those student loans, man? That's ridiculous.
Well, that's a federal thing. But I definitely feel that because states can regulate their insurance, the auto insurance.
Okay.
It should be based upon my driving record and my claim history.
Okay.
That's it.
I agree.
Okay. So did you get that bill sponsored?
I had some people say, "Oh, well, there's lots involved in this. We have to."
Well, the car insurance company has
we
to
have to
wait.
wait.
The biggest lobbyist in
well,
Washington.
they are a big lobbyist, but I'm thinking, now you know I'm about to turn on your ass, right? Like, you telling me that you don't want to do this for the people. And this is something that Republicans would sign on to too, right? Because in rural communities, they're paying high-ass car insurance too.
Right.
You know, based upon their credit scores, right? Like, so this is not partisan.
Yeah.
You know, this is something that benefits everybody.
That might have saved you from getting assassinated in 6.
Hey, we all got to go. We all got to go.
When your numbers up.
You was digging a little too deep on that one.
We all got to go.
You was trying to get billions of dollars.
Okay,
they take me
general...
out right. I don't want any peace rallies for me.
Oh, shit.
Corona bottles, oil, gasoline, rags, and wax seals. use my insurance money to buy all that for the people.
Okay. We're on it. We're on it.
All right.
So, sorry, man. I can't even with you sometimes.
Should have been peace before I died, right?
Yes. Whew. Okay.
All right.
Sorry. It's hot in here, though, for real.
There was something else I wanted them to pass, too, but I forgot.
But my point is that it is possible you do have access. At least that has been my experience here in Colorado. From working on my documentary, I just did not realize that we do have the power. We do have a voice, and we should be able to use that, and we need to be able to continuously support the people that we did work so hard to get into office and make sure.
Can I do one more? I remember.
Yes, sir. Oh, okay.
Because I wanted to be out here on record, right?
Yeah.
I've reached out to my representatives on this, so if they say they didn't know, they're lying. The other one I want is record expungement, right? So unless you've done something horrible like murder, rape, or there's some other things that we can get into, but for misdemeanors, lock that off. In 5 years, lock it off.
Okay.
Certain felonies need to be locked off, period.
Yeah.
In the state of Colorado, certain things should not be recognized. Why? Because once again, even if it's a misdemeanor on your record, you're discriminated against and you're pushed into this cycle of poverty, right?
Yeah.
You've already, I think it's double jeopardy to an extent outside.
You can go after 10 years, but
depends on what it is.
TSA and law enforcement can still see it, I think. I don't know
that's
about
fine.
what charges.
As long as the rental company I'm trying to get my apartment at can't see it, as long as my employer that I'm trying to get a job, so I don't have to revert to a life of illegal activity.
You can get
revert to it.
You have to do a so you have to do a motion to the courts. An appeal to the courts, and then the judge says, okay, we can seal this if it's after a certain amount of time, and then you have to go to CBI.
How much does that cost?
It costs $27.50
for CBI.
Oh. For CBI, but then I think it's like a
cases?
filing charge of $60-something, but you can also file a motion to have them waive the $60-something if you don't have it. But I think your felonies have to be 10 years old, but then you could get it sealed to where your job media or your job can't see it. I think it's 10 years.
That's a lot that can happen in 10 years.
I mean,
because
you gotta keep your nose clean for 10 years. don't hurt nobody. Don't shoot nobody. Don't reoffend.
But
if you really want your record sealed, in 10 years, don't reoffend.
But see, how much is that breaking away from the system, though? Right? It's like being on parole or probation. It's not designed to give you a chance. It's designed to give the appearance of a chance. To bring you back in for recidivism.
Well, I'm just saying that there's the avenue if you do not reoffend in 10 years, you can get it sealed, and then the only people who can see your record are law enforcement and TSA.
It should be dropped to 5.
Okay, that's what you want. I'd say let's drop it to 1.
No.
Right.
It's a judge's discretion, though. They can do it. They can do it right now if they want.
They could,
do it today.
but they don't.
Listen,
and people don't realize they can vote judges out.
Excuse me.
No,
sir.
Okay.
I'm interrupting. Are there clinics and places where you can learn how to get your records expunged? That's my question, because I feel like I've seen that. Is there a thing around
there
that?
Aren't, but if it was automatic, why you didn't have to go through all that?
I know, but actually, I had an extensive criminal history. Because if you know me, you know I'm an ex-gang member. I've been to prison. I've been gunned down. I've been through.
You're just making sure the system worked.
And I literally Googled how to seal my record.
Yeah.
And I followed the steps.
Yeah.
And I filed the motion.
Yeah.
And I took it down to the DA's office. And I took it down to CBI.
Yeah.
And I paid the $27.50. And the job looked up my charges and they hired me.
All right.
Yes.
That's what's up.
All right. So see, but that's the thing is we have to have a little bit of knowledge can go a long way.
Yes.
Right?
Or we can just push them where it's automatically done.
Okay. So get the bill written, Hashim.
I didn't want them to sponsor.
All right. Well, who should we ask?
All of them.
Fine. I'll take a note.
Everybody.
All right. We'll get on that as soon as possible.
But Governor Polis he passed a ban in the boxes going into law in September.
Okay.
But they cannot initially ask you if you're a felon. But once they agree to say, we like Hashim, we want to hire him.
They can check. I mean, they can check. But then sometimes I think that people harp too much on felonies because misdemeanors are discriminated against too.
You
right?
can easily you can get a misdemeanor sealed easier, but it is more of a time lapse. But I'm just saying, if you are diligent about it and you have not reoffended, then they will.
Okay.
The courts will.
So speaking of people offending people, I didn't know if you guys had heard about this Iowa official that got fired. His name was Jerry Foxhaven.
Support Jerry.
Support Jerry. I think we need a GoFundMe for Jerry. Jerry lost his job because he sent out too many Tupac Shakur quotes. Did you see that story?
Videos he made his staff do Tupac Shakur Friday or something. Tupac Thursdays or something.
I'm listening to this.
Like Dear Mama Mondays.
Where's the problem?
It was like Dear Mama Mondays.
Where's the problem?
He said, hey everyone, I know Father's Day is coming up. It's also Tupac's birthday, so I hope you'll all celebrate Tupac's birthday and send out a quote. And he just loved Tupac. Yeah. But I guess but he lost his job over
the Republican governor fired him.
And this dude is 66 years old. This is like a 66-year-old white man.
It made me proud of where I come from.
I dig it.
I come from thug life. I did that.
Yeah.
You know, and I know about all the atrocities affiliated with that lifestyle and that, you know, even that genre of music and all that, but I also know about the love and the camaraderie and the, you know, like you said earlier, you know, some of y'all looking for a rally. If you looking for a riot, and that's where it's going to come from. You know what I'm saying? You know, so... and when I heard that, I was like, yeah, hell yeah, like right on. But then also there's another piece of me that was like, well, damn, if he's obsessed with Tupac, I'll have to be honest with you, man. I mean, I don't want my elected officials spending a whole lot of time.
So, wait, would it be okay?
Sending out rap videos.
But here's my thing. Would it be
if it was a racist-ass white dude he was sending out videos about, then we'd be having a totally different conversation.
But hold on. Would it be okay for him to quote Shakespeare?
He could quote Shakespeare, but if it's Shakespeare Tuesday...
Hold on. What's the difference between Shakespeare and Tupac?
Nothing.
Right. So my issue is that the racist-ass governor was pissed that it was Tupac that he was sharing out, and not some white poet, right, or white person that did inspirational. But
if
thoughts.
It was,
but
I think
Tupac
it was
is
a pattern
poet.
of it, though.
It
That's
doesn't
what the
matter.
problem was.
It could just have. You can have a favorite, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so would he have been fired if it was Maya Angelou?
I'm not saying he should have been fired too, but I'm just saying, personally, because I don't know how the extent of it, but if it was some type of
350.
Oh,
but we don't know.
Oh, no.
How long was it going on?
I'm a Tupac. I'm a Pac
So
head,
there's
but
365 days in a year, right?
Yeah.
That's not a high number.
So it's every other day?
No, because you get
That's
more than
every other day.
But you get more than one email a day, right?
In 2 years.
So the point is, like,
you guys are watering this shit down.
Okay,
right?
no, okay,
this is
go
really
ahead. Hit it, Hashim.
I'm in support of what he did.
All right.
Right? Because if you change up your email tagline every day to do some type of quote, the positive word quote of the day, nobody says shit about that. Right? No one says anything about that because it's looked at because it's a positive quote of the day. Why can't Pac be that positive quote of the day?
I think he should be.
That's
every day, every other day?
What's wrong with that?
I think he had an obsession with Tupac. And I think that in his position, that probably
maybe he
love
liked
Tupac, but
Tupac's message.
maybe
you put
that
too much
was
on
not,
Jerry.
I just think that probably was not the best place to be sending out
Why? Like
videos about Tupac. Okay, you like Tupac.
You're ignoring your conditioning to it unto why it's bad.
Well, don't you got something better to do though?
You sound like you an East Coast rapper.
Oh,
I like East Coast rap.
So you hate no Pac because of that, right?
Okay, before this gets out of hand.
I used to be a blood. Pac was a blood. I love Pac.
I got you. So
I got known gang members. Okay, I'm gonna drink this. Okay.
Yes, known gang members like Congress.
Ooh, hit it.
Any elected official, right? Now let me stop.
Yeah.
No.
But no, it's true.
It's okay. So anyway, yo, Jerry, we stand with you. You know what
Jerry
I'm saying?
old enough to retire.
He
Jerry,
right. Yeah, he's okay.
No GoFundMe.
I'm not mad at
Jerry.
Jerry. Jerry's okay.
If you're gonna be obsessed with somebody, let it be Tupac, but not on company time.
Why?
No,
What you
okay,
mean
we're
why?
just gonna go
So
around
who
and
can
around
it
with
be?
this.
What if I worked for you and
it's
somebody was like, and you was looking at your Facebook, and you like, yo, Terrance is supposed to be scrubbing the carpet.
Is the carpet clean?
And here
Is
he
the
is
carpet
on
clean?
Facebook arguing about Tupac.
Is the carpet clean?
He done clocked in for 8 hours.
Is the carpet clean?
How you clock in for 8 hours,
So,
but you was arguing with Rebecca for 2 hours
all right. So,
about Tupac?
yep. Once again,
No, I'm not paying you for 8 hours.
you're letting conditioning control you from this, right? So one, he was salary, right? So the whole time restraint is different.
Okay.
Two, we don't understand the context of those emails. If it was for his team or whatever, if it was his team, XYZ needs to be done today, and remember, keep your head up, right?
Yeah.
We don't know how he was setting this. It just knows that it was going on.
Yeah.
I'm all fine
I'll
with
admit
it.
to that, and I ain't mad at him. That's it.
Okay.
If that
I
was
don't
his,
want no
Tupac
mad
was
at
his
you.
signature.
We ain't mad at you. Jerry, we ain't mad at you. All right.
Some pun intended.
Right.
Okay.
Corny.
So
But
before
I knew you was gonna give me back when I called him corny. He had that look in his eye, like, all right.
That's my petty. That's my petty sparkle.
All right, Petty LaBelle. All right. Before we wrap it up, I did want to do my favorite part, which I like to call. I'm working on my song. Okay, here we go. Mm-hmm. Positive news for people of color.
What key was that in?
Kia Rebecca.
All of them.
No, but I wanted to bring up that I know that some people know, especially people in the room. These are my family members. You guys are my friends. But Ava Duvernay is one of my personal heroes as a filmmaker. I love Ava.
Yes.
Ava has gotten, When They See Us has 16 nominations, Emmy nominations.
Do you know what When They See Us is? Because you should.
Okay. Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Yes.
It's not a documentary, but it is sort of is the tale of the so-called Central Park Five. You should definitely check it out if you haven't not heard of it. I'm not going to go into it because it's
the exonerated
it's
five.
Number one, it's too hot in here. I'm cooking, and also it's my sister's birthday. What? So we got to get out of here. Happy birthday!
But they definitely should check it out.
So you guys. We're going out for dinner to a very fancy restaurant called
Chili's. Oh, y'all black. Red Lobster. My fault.
Yeah, I like that 2 for $20 bit Chili's. They be coming through.
I'm sorry.
I wanted to shout her out because I feel like that was a really hard thing to watch.
Man.
I mean, but I feel like what the point, because I know a lot of people, the only thing I'll say about it is, to me, it did not feel like that kind of like black, like trauma porn. Like it felt like she was trying to show these beautiful boys and their lives and their families and how they got destroyed.
Destroyed.
You know?
Destroyed. Intentionally destroyed.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. But it's traumatic to watch. I watched it alone. I didn't want anybody to see me and all the range of emotions and faces that I would go through from being a victim of the criminal justice system.
Yeah.
Like, yikes. And mine was light compared to what they went through.
Right.
So, that's...
So, but I do think it is really incredible that she's being recognized for the story she's telling, and she's a hero of mine because I'm just like, that's the kind of work that I'm also trying to do. I'm trying to tell these stories that are untold. I'm trying to show people who are doing good work in their community.
I just want to correct you.
And that's it. Go ahead.
Try implies failure. What you are doing is actually telling the stories. So remove try from it.
I'm telling these stories.
Right. You're telling the stories.
And shining lights in places that I feel like there's not always a light there. So I want to thank you guys for coming on Off Color.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And we will keep on keeping on. Just follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, we're Off Color Pod. On Facebook, we're Off Color Podcast. I'm not good at branding, so that's what happened there. So go ahead and make sure you subscribe to Off Color and let people know that you support local media, and also put $1 on my Patreon. What?
Or $2.
Put $100.
Yeah.
Put $1,000.
That's right.
She's
Reach
running
deep.
for office.
You heard it here first.
I am never running for office.
That's what they all say.
Yeah.
We know for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't think she was. Now I know she's running for office.
Oh, Lord. All right. And cut.
Peace.
Love.
I don't know. Are we done?
And soul.
Woo! I was trying to keep it to the time. I'm sweating like a pig over here. Woo!
Pigs don't sweat.
Woo! Off Color is a Tan Tigress production. This episode was produced by me, Rebecca Henderson, music by James Meekum, and additional editing and assistance and technical stuff was the great goddess, Jess Carter. For more information about Tan Tigress Productions, visit tantigress.com. Special thanks to the good folks at Versa for all their love and support. Oh, and if you want to see the video of this after I get around to editing it, you should subscribe to Tan Tigress on YouTube or Off Color or join my Patreon, and you'll get a lot of access to stuff if you give me some money. What?